Let's jump right into this explainer and bust a massive myth right off the bat. Computational thinking? Yeah, it's really not just about writing code. Whether you're gearing up to be a software engineer or literally just trying to organize your life, it's the ultimate problem-solving toolkit. It's all about taking those messy, complex situations we deal with every day and turning them into incredibly clear, workable solutions.
The core idea here is structure. Computational thinking gives us a reliable way to analyze a problem so it actually makes sense. You're basically breaking huge challenges into bite-sized, manageable parts, spotting useful patterns, tuning out the noise to focus on relevant details, and finally designing a step-by-step solution. When you use this framework, any problem becomes so much easier to tackle, whether you're training a new AI model or just planning out your busy Tuesday.
And this brings us to a huge misconception. I love this point because it's so true. You absolutely do not need to know a single line of programming to be a computational thinker. Honestly, you're using these exact skills right now. When you organize a complicated schedule or figure out the fastest route to run your errands across town, you're using computational thinking, entirely code-free. It's all about boosting efficiency and clarity across the board. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to unpack this problem-solving toolkit, look at decomposition, move on to abstraction, hit pattern recognition, cover algorithmic design, and then finally put the whole toolkit together.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the problem-solving toolkit.
Moving right into Section 2, decomposition or breaking it down. You know that feeling when a problem just feels completely overwhelming? When that happens, the very first question you need to ask yourself is, what smaller parts does this contain? That's decomposition in a nutshell. You're splitting a massive system into smaller subproblems that you can actually wrap your head around. It makes giant tasks way less intimidating, plus it makes testing easier and lets you smoothly divide the work among a team. Think about planning a massive school trip. Sounds stressful, right? But it becomes totally manageable when you decompose it into specific tasks, sorting out the transport, the budget, the food. The exact same logic applies to computing. Building a full-scale weather app from scratch sounds daunting, but if you break it down into just collecting data, building the user interface, and setting up alerts, suddenly each piece can be designed, tested, and handed off to different developers without anyone pulling their hair out. On to Section 3, Abstraction. This is all about focusing on the essentials. Here's the golden question for this tool. Which details actually matter here, and which can I just ignore? This forces us to separate the signal from the noise. Abstraction is simply about hiding information that doesn't help you solve the task at hand. By ditching the irrelevant details, you completely cut through the confusion, letting you focus purely on the crucial inputs, processes, and outputs. This is a perfect way to visualize it. Take a city bus map. It doesn't show you every single tree, coffee shop, or park bench along the way, right? It hides all that useless detail because you only need the stops and the connections to get where you're going. It's the exact same principle for student record system. It ignores your shoe size and your favorite band, focusing strictly on what matters, your ID and your grades. Okay, let's do a quick mental test together. Imagine you're building a lunch ordering system for a school canteen. The kitchen serves a bunch of different meals, kids can grab drinks, and the administration needs a daily report. As the designer, what specific information about the students do you actually need to store in the system, and what's just useless clutter? All right, let's see how you did. The details that absolutely matter here are the student's name, their ID, what meal they chose, any allergies, and if they've paid. That's it. By applying abstraction and tossing out the irrelevant stuff, like their bus seat number or what brand of sneakers they're wearing, we get this beautifully clean, simplified model of exactly what the canteen needs to run like clockwork. Now for Section 4, Pattern Recognition, finding those trends. This one answers a vital question. What's repeating here, and how can I use that similarity to my advantage? When we start noticing things that behave in predictable ways, we can use those patterns to forecast outcomes, classify data, and save ourselves a ton of repeated work. It's really the secret engine behind making our solutions reusable. Think about a teacher noticing a behavioral trend. Like if a student misses their homework for 3 weeks straight, they're probably going to struggle on the midterm. Now look at how an AI handles your inbox. It spots suspicious links, unknown senders, and super urgent language. By recognizing those exact repeated patterns, the AI can accurately predict and trap future spam before you even see it. Spotting the pattern is literally your key to efficiency.
Section 5 brings us to our final tool, algorithmic design. Logical steps.
This is where the rubber meets the road, and we turn our ideas into actual action. Algorithmic design is all about laying out a step-by-step method. The key here is that your instructions have to be so clear, so perfectly logical, and in such a strict order that there is absolutely zero room for guesswork.
Making a cup of tea is basically the perfect everyday algorithm. Think about it. If you execute these clear actions out of order, say you pour the milk first or you add the water before it's even boiled, you are going to end up with an absolutely tragic cup of tea. The sequence matters just as much as the steps themselves.
And that exact same sequential logic maps perfectly onto a computational task. Say we want a system to calculate an average test score. We input the scores, add them together, divide by the total number, and output the result. By creating a rock-solid algorithm like this, the process can be repeated flawlessly every single time, whether it's done by another human or run as code by a computer.
Let's bring it all home in Section 6, putting the toolkit together.
In the real world, you're almost never going to use just one of these tools. You're going to use all four working together. Imagine you're tasked with building a massive mobile app for a school. First, you'd use decomposition to split the whole thing into modules, like homework, attendance, and a feedback portal. Then, you'd use pattern recognition to spot repeated form fields on the login pages. You'd apply abstraction to filter out useless data, like a student's gaming preferences, so you can just focus on the academics. And finally, you'd use algorithmic design to write the step-by-step logic that actually sends out assignment reminders. They all power each other.
Before we wrap up this explainer, we really need to highlight a few common pitfalls people run into with these concepts. A huge one is confusing abstraction with decomposition. Just remember, decomposition is breaking a big thing into smaller pieces, while abstraction is stripping away the useless details. Another trap is being too vague. To really nail this, you always want to use the exact concept name and apply it to a highly specific scenario so you can clearly show why it makes the solution better. I'm going to leave you with one final challenge. The next time you grab your phone to order dinner online, take a really close look at that app. Ask yourself, where exactly did the developers use decomposition to separate the restaurant menus from the payment gateways? Where's the abstraction that ignores your hair color but definitely saves your delivery address? Can you spot the pattern recognition recommending your favorite late-night meals? And what about the algorithms calculating exactly how many minutes until that hot food hits your doorstep? It's all around you once you know what to look for. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.